kidding me?
Welcome
No
back
way.
to the Man West
way.
Commanders
Did
podcast,
this
where we
happen?
tackle the latest
Did that
Washington
just
football
happen?
team news and
Are you
answer the hard-hitting
kidding?
questions like, are we still celebrating or what?
Yes,
Ladies and
we
gentlemen,
are. Woo! We really are.
I'm one of your hosts.
We
My name is
pulled it out.
Bradley, and I'm still
Man,
celebrating.
Holy
I lost my
Toledo.
voice, man. I lost my voice.
Oh.
Man.
And
Shout
who are
out
you?
to cronies.
And who are you?
Just
I'm
give us your
Tico
name.
Wells.
You had to
man.
revive me a
I'm
few times.
Tico
All right.
Wells, man.
Smelling salt under the nose. What happened?
DC's own heartbeat. Let's talk about it. Go
There it
ahead.
is.
Who else we got in
haven't.
the house?
Who else we got in the house?
Didn't you say somebody was coming over, Teeks?
Yeah, I thought you
Yeah,
didn't
but
introduce
you
yourself,
haven't
did you, Eddie?
introduced
Introduce
yourself. We're
yourself.
doing the host first.
We're all over the place here.
All right. That's Eddie Passarelli. I'm Donnie Roach.
I'm Eddie
We're so
Pass.
out of our minds with celebration, we can't remember to introduce ourselves
I
right now.
can't even think straight.
Yeah.
You see our
Act like
names
you've
are written
been
right
here
on the
before,
screen.
gentlemen.
Read it yourself.
Act like you've been here before.
Alright.
6
Do
and
you
2.
doing this.
believe?
Act
been
like
doing
you've been
this.
here before.
Well,
6
we
and
got
2.
an
Talk
extra.
to me.
We got an extra special show tonight.
Yes.
Because
yes,
we got a
right.
lot to talk about. It was a really fun week. But before we get into that, we have a super special guest, Curtis Walker. Oh shoot, Frick, I forget the nickname. Introduce yourself, my friend.
C-Dub, what's up,
C-Dub,
fellas? What's up?
C-Dub.
What's up, fellas?
He does.
What up, baby boy? What up? What up?
Hey,
Welcome,
what's going
welcome.
on?
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
What up,
East
cousin?
Coast
What
vibes.
up, cousin?
Yeah.
East Coast vibes. East
Yeah.
Coast vibes.
East Coast
Left
vibes coming
hand
out to
up,
the West
left hand up.
That
Oh,
Dubs
yeah.
is in
Yeah,
the club.
definitely.
And
That's right.
and you're currently in the DMV, right?
Right. Yep.
And
Yep.
how's it rocking?
Man, it's electric out here. It's a new feeling.
Yep.
Just a bunch of excitement, and I guess the key word is hope. There's a whole lot of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels different, doesn't it? It feels different.
Oh
this year.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It feels
Definitely.
different because it is different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And
That's the thing.
I wish
That's the
that I
thing.
was out there, man, because
Yeah.
it like that city's got to be on fire right now.
Oh yeah. Oh
Were you
yeah.
lucky enough to get to the game, or are you just watching it at home like everybody else?
No, I watch it at home. But you know what? It's just, I mean, you can hear the whole entire area just erupt, you know,
Yeah.
right at that moment, almost like a pop, coming
Wow.
out of the DMV, man. That was
That's
incredible.
So cool.
That's
so
That was
cool.
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said it when I joined the Zoom, just this has been the most fun week of social media I think I've had ever.
Right.
Ever. I mean, I'm 25. This is my favorite Commanders moment I've ever seen.
Well,
It's up there. It's up
When
there
do we
with
get
mine.
to bask in so much glory? Like it never happens to us.
I could watch the
it's-
play. I love all the different angles. I love the different audio broadcasts. Like listen to it from the Commanders radio broadcast, the Bears radio broadcast, the Spanish radio broadcast. Like I'll watch it over and over and over.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Hey, guys, we were at. Can we let's give a shout out to Cronies Sports Bar and Grill.
We'll do that.
We were getting ready to get up from our table.
We
and
were already
like,
standing.
wow, did we
bill was
just
paid.
give this one
We
away?
were-
Did we just give this one away? And then before we could get up and out, the hail Noah, hail to the Noah, hail to Maryland, whatever you want to call it. It was crazy.
The Washington walk.
Washington walk off, walk out. Hey, Bradley,
Walk
I
off,
jumped
yeah.
up. I start high stepping, like high knees. I ran around the table. I grabbed Donnie. Was high fiving Eddie.
I know.
And
It's just
I
like
kept going. I can't believe it.
We were out
Oh
of our
my
minds.
God. Oh my God. People were looking at me. And I think those people behind us were like from Chicago. I think
Yeah.
that
I think there
I
was
think
some
that was a
Bears fans in
Chicago
there that got a
table.
little ticked off, but
and they
I'm
were
not
like,
gonna worry
look at
about
this
that.
fool
Yeah.
running around.
Well, they would have been running around too if it happened
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
And
They
that's
were
just the
a
thing,
few
you know
minutes
what?
before. So
Yeah.
It happens, and it just hasn't really happened to us.
look,
Yeah.
the football gods smiled on us this
Yes.
weekend, and they haven't smiled on us in a long
Yeah.
time.
No, but they've been
So
smiling on
I'll
it
take
for
it.
at least 8 weeks now. So
Well, I mean, that was one from the gods.
That was-
they-
So I want to
Oh, yeah.
ask Curtis, because we've obviously been doing this for 8 weeks, but this has been 8 weeks of like just unbelievable football, right? Of
Right.
of a team that we've watched terrible football from. And so
Right.
I want to hear like up until this point, because we're going to talk a lot about this game, obviously, but up until this point, what have been your takeaways, your thoughts, your feelings about the season so far?
So far, it's been ever since he was drafted, just the way he presented himself from training camp, the different little videos that we saw coming out. So we kind of had a glimpse of it, but we're like, we've been beat up so much that we really don't know how to accept the fact that we may have that superstar.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. So you kind of see hints of it. But every week it's like we're starting to see like the legend of Jayden Daniels grow bigger and bigger. And it reminds me of my comic book days, what we used to, reading Batman, and we had what's called plot armor. And the character, no matter what, that character is always going to survive. You don't know how it's going to happen.
Right.
And this game, from week to week, and then leading up to this game and that moment, and the way it ended with the clock, running out and him running back and forth and then throwing it down and being tipped. That's the very definition and essence of plot armor. It feels like we finally have the superstar.
Yeah.
It's finally our time to shine.
And
so it's nothing but excitement.
I like that you brought up, waiting for the other shoe to drop, because we as Commanders fan, we like to joke that we got PTSD because, from all the years of heartbreak. And it was funny because I didn't realize people were like preying on our downfall like that, because this week, people were like, Jayden Daniels, he's slim. He's going to get hurt. Oh, he's got bruised ribs. He's not going to, like, people were chirping. People were jawing. Social media was crazy. People were like, oh, he's weak. He's not big enough to play in the NFL. And then you get a game like this. He's not tough enough.
All right.
Our motherfucker's tough.
He showed
his
toughness.
got armor.
Yeah.
He's got armor. Not only plot armor, he's got thick skin. He's got fight in him. He's got drive. Like, I love that you brought that up, because people were like, oh, he's gonna get hurt. And we thought he wasn't gonna play. We called it last week. We're like, I said it.
Yeah.
I don't think Jayden Daniels is gonna play.
I did too.
And he played. And man, first game over 300 yards.
Yep. What a way to come in.
Incredible.
Well, listening to Jayden talk on some of the interviews, it's like nobody thought that from that injury, like you said, we got PTSD, right? So who comes to mind?
Yeah.
RG3, right?
Mm-hmm.
RG3, 2013, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And from listening to Jayden, it was like I felt better and better every day. And by the time Saturday came, he was like, "There's no way I'm not going to be ready to play. It's no way."
He had that smile in that interview, and I was like, "He's playing, man."
But I knew a couple signs for me. One, last week when he came back out of the locker room, and he was waving to the crowd. Remember that?
Yeah.
I said, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, he didn't stay in there very long. He didn't stay in there the whole game.
Right.
And then, I was just so excited.
Yeah.
To see him running without any loss of mobility or anything. He just, we were all like cringing anytime he got even hit a little bit.
And he was not going down either. It was funny. Conversation, and we're like, we're gonna see him slide a little bit more. We're not gonna see the design runs. I at one point I said out loud, "You're hurt. Go back on, bro." Like, come on.
But see, that was us. That was us projecting how much it hurt.
Well,
we weren't in his body.
There was
once
a
they
respect
said there
that
was
he
no
gained
crap,
from his teammates
Oh.
toughing it out
Yeah.
like that.
Oh.
Right,
Like
right.
they've already commended him as a leader, but this week going in there,
Yeah.
clearly he wasn't 100%. Clearly his ribs were hurt. You saw him wincing a few times, but for
Yeah.
him to scramble around, he scrambled over 40 yards on that one play. He scrambled back and forth across, then threw the ball 64 yards in the air before it was tipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do that with hurt ribs, that like
That's
he
not
just
easy.
gained
Not
that
only
level of respect from
threw
his
it, but
teammates.
like threw it at the exact angle and the exact place where it would be tipped. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, a
Brilliant.
lot of this
Yeah.
stuff can go down to luck, but I'll tell you right now, we have the luck in our favor. I'm going to go to Vegas. No, I mean, look, I'm not putting odds that we're going to do anything in our first year. We're in a rebuild, just like a lot of teams do, and maybe we'll get there quicker. And I'll be happy if we do, win a game or two in the playoffs, or maybe even make that incredible route, road to the Super Bowl. You never know, right? So every time we think that we're not going to get it, what happens? They do something miraculous.
Right.
Which brings me to what I feel about what we saw out of Jayden, because that's what we seem to be analyzing, is that the man is resilient. He doesn't waver. He doesn't change his expression. Like a really solid golfer that wins tournaments, like a Tiger Woods. These guys had blood in their, in their veins that was just cold. They're like just leaving it there. They're going to stay chill. You never know what they're up or down. And every time he got hit, he acknowledged it, got up, shrugged it off, went back to the huddle, and commanded the entire team to a victory somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know what's what's impressive? I'm sorry. You know what's impressive to me is the piggybacking off of what you just said. Not only is he a leader, but he is so aware of the moment. So I don't know about you guys, but during the whole entire scramble, I'm like, okay, throw it. Okay, throw it. Okay, throw it. You're going backwards. Why are you going back so far? But now when I think about it, after everything is done, and he said that he was worried about throwing the ball out of bounds. So this guy, this rookie, had the wherewithal to move back further so that his pass wouldn't go out of bounds.
Yeah.
His situational awareness is just
unbelievable.
Off the charts right now.
Hey, you saw Baker Mayfield throw a Hail Mary attempt at the end of the game, and what happened? Out of the back of the end zone, right? It threw it too far. Guy caught the ball. It was out of the back of the end zone. So that's a real
and
that's
getting
a real
it right
concern.
on the 1 yard line, the 0 yard line.
Like you said, Eddie, the trajectory is like an Aaron Rodgers. If you throw that on a line that gets picked off or batted down, you got to throw it up and down. You got to get up and down,
like a punt, a high hanging,
like a punt. Exactly.
You need hang time.
If you watch those videos back, you see Terry is almost on the ground at one point, because he's getting mauled, and Jayden again runs around. He's letting the guys have time to set up
and get down there.
He's drawing two dudes, and here's my point, because we've been talking a lot about Jayden Daniels. I think one of the biggest points for me in this game, because I want to break down the beginning of this game, because we've been talking a lot about one play, because there was
clearly.
a full 4 quarters
There's more to break
that happened
down.
before this. But this play is kind of like a microcosm of what the game was, in my opinion. Although I do feel like the rest of the game, the ball didn't bounce our way, but
that's right.
The coaching made we won this game by coaching. And I say that because Ron Rivera could never. Dan Quinn had these guys ready. They had this play practice. Terry McLaurin is in position in front to see if they bat it down, he'll catch it and run in. Zach Ertz is our tallest guy. He's in the middle. He's going up and trying to catch it from up. Noah Brown is in the back to see if it's tipped in the back. Everybody has their role. And you know who didn't follow their role is Tyreek Stevenson. Because his ass wasn't disciplined enough, and the coaching, they didn't have the coaching, and on the play before, again, Tyreek Stevenson, there's miscommunication. The coaching to hand it off to a backup center on the goal line is crazy. The coaching we were so much better coached than them. And that play shows you we practiced it, We were in position. We were disciplined. We were ready for the moment, like Curtis said. Jayden was ready for the moment.
Let's
And
not
that's why
forget.
we won this
Let's
game.
not forget the pass to Terry right before that gained the
Yes.
extra yardage that they need to be in position to make the throw.
Yeah.
They had no guarding. Chicago was gone. They let him get that yardage. It was like he was wide open.
Yep.
And
That's
the
a
play
failure.
before that to Ertz.
Right.
Okay, remember this series started with 25 seconds left.
Yeah.
Okay. And I
What
think, what was it
20
on
or
the
something?
30?
19.
No,
No, it
it's
was
25
25. It was
before they
25.
kicked off.
Okay.
And
19 when Jayden
Eckler
Daniels got the ball.
foolishly didn't he caught the ball and ran with it, and that took off 6 seconds. That was a mistake in my mind.
Because
Maybe they
how many
thought-
I don't
plays
think it
did
was
they
a
run?
mistake
Didn't they
because it
run
wouldn't
4
have happened.
plays? They ran 4 plays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They-
that's why I
So
say
the
that
first one was an incomplete.
Jayden was
The
hurt.
second
man.
one was to Zach. The third was to
and then
Terry.
timeout, and the
Yeah.
third one was to
And
Terry.
then, yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't need a timeout for Terry's pass because
Right.
that was 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna have their version of this. Like as the legend grows on and on and on and on,
Yeah.
people are gonna say, yeah, we had about, we started off with 3 seconds left and we got 4 plays in, it's just gonna grow. It's gonna grow. But from my recollection, the whole series started with 25 seconds. Got down, and then the first play, somehow 19 got down to 19. Then it took a while to get to Zach. His play, they had to reset up, and then Terry's play, it was only 5 seconds left when Terry's play started. And Tony Romo was going, throw it now,
Yeah.
because he had to get it out of his hands. Terry had to turn around, catch it, get out of bounds immediately. Then there were 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
A-
No.
And remember, Donnie, there was a point when we saw Terry McLaurin yelling at
Yeah.
a guy. You know who it
Tyreek
was,
Stevenson.
It was
yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson.
It was Tyreek
yeah.
Stevenson.
Mhm.
Yeah,
was-
it is funny that he was the one jawing at the crowd too, because he was the one that got burned for 60 yards from Terry McLaurin. He was the one who, punched one of our linemen in the face for a 15-yard penalty. Like, what did you do today, bro? You got
Yeah.
burnt and got yourself a unsportsmanlike penalty? Who you
John
talking
Lennon,
to, bro?
John Lennon wrote a song called "Instant Karma." It's like
Instant
it comes
karma,
right
instant
back
karma,
at you.
comes
You,
right
you,
back
you
to
act like an
Yeah.
ass, and then right afterwards, that's
So
instant karma right there.
I want to bring us back, and I want to break down this full game, and of course I want to start with our guest. So we usually start with offense, defense. First of all, Curtis, do you have a thought on the offense or the defense that you wanna start us off with that you can
I
think of?
think, yeah, I just think it's what we're seeing now is, especially as this for this fan base, we're seeing excellent coaching in every phase of the ball. And you're seeing hustle. You're seeing these guys. They look like they'll run through a wall, but not only run through a wall, they know which wall to run through.
Yeah.
So I think the offense, and as good as they've been, I still think that they have not reached their peak because
Agreed.
they still have red zone issues and different
Yep.
things that they're missing. And for the league, that has to be scary because you're watching this team develop. You're watching Cliff Kingsbury. Just it looks like he's learned from the last time that he's that he was a head coach. Now he can focus completely on the offense, and then he has that dedicated quarterback that's going to put the time in, and that's also just not just a running quarterback, but he also has vision and things like that.
Right.
So defensively, I feel like we're watching the defense kind of get it. Where they in the beginning, you could tell they really didn't know where to be at. Some of the old regime, they're still used to the half-ass playing, and you know what? You need to be hustling and arriving violently to the ball. So we're watching them kind of understand wit and understand DQs, what they're expecting.
Whole
and
mentality. Yeah.
everything.
Philosophy,
Everything.
Yeah.
And then the special teams, I mean, man, we got to give Adam Peters so much credit because they went out and found a kicker
Mm-hmm.
that's consistently hitting kicks. Now he had
Mhm.
that one where he kicked, I don't know what the hell that was. He kicked the grass in front of it. But
Yeah.
you know, that's something we really don't have to worry about now. We don't have to
Mhm.
worry about,
In
you
golf,
know,
that's called a chunk with a wedge. You chunk it.
well, he got a hell of a chunk there. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
There's a huge divot he left in the ground. You got to
right.
replace that divot, but the
Yeah.
grass back in the hole.
Right.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, we haven't even watched this team develop their full potential yet. And it just
Absolutely.
goes to
Yeah.
show you what the difference of coaching makes when it comes to, team play.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I can't wait to see where this whole thing goes.
I'm so glad you brought up potential because not only do I feel like we haven't hit our potential for this season, like I just think of what we've done this season with the people that we have, right? Like, I watched Zach Ertz, who's 37 or 36. He's an older guy. He's still making plays.
Mhm.
But imagine if we had some young buck in there. He's making it. Zach Ertz admitted himself. He's like, if I was 25, I'm coming down with that ball. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yep.
what we have to look forward to. Like these are pieces that Adam Peters have put in this year to start building mentality for the future, to start mentoring the young guys. Like our potential is through the damn roof. Like we have Bobby Wagner in there who has lost a step, but is still the smartest guy on the field, mentoring these young guys. If we get a 22-year-old who's been mentored by Bobby in there with the brain that he does, getting reps, we got a Frankie Louvu who is a rising star in this league. You know what I'm saying? Like what we're seeing with what we have just speaks to the personnel, but also the coaching is like, damn. And you said it. We had problems in the red zone. We had stupid mistakes, but that shit is correctable. That shit is fixable. You know what I mean? Like that potential is there. We had five. I count them. We had 5 fucking missed opportunities for touchdowns this game, but gentlemen.
Right.
We had 2. We had 1 drop ball, 1 slight miss for Jayden. We had 2 penalties calling back. 1 a touchdown and 1 within the 5-yard line. Like we had 5 drop passes. Like this is what we're working with in a game that honestly should have been 28-0 at half, but potential it's there and it's clear. And I'm just like, wow, we're doing this. We're 6-2 with what we have. This is incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned this early on last week about Chicago. We knew that this was a defense.
Yeah.
So what I think was great was that the first half of the game, we walked out of there, they hadn't scored. This was a defensive grinder for most of the game. Matter of fact, let's just call it what it was. This was a defensive,
It was in the trenches.
spectacle. It was in the trenches. And the fact that we do have a kicker and the fact that our offense got us down there,
Mhm.
their red zone defense
Yeah.
has to get a ton of credit too.
I gotta take issue with that though, Tico. It wasn't because they do have a tough defense, and it wasn't their defense that was keeping us out of the end zone. It was us.
Yeah.
We were shooting ourselves in the foot. We
Yeah.
were making
Yeah.
stupid. There was no reason we weren't scoring on some of those plays.
Yeah.
And to have
Dumb penalty.
illegal procedure penalties or illegal man downfield, like those are they're not even what they call like
Drive
competitive
killers.
penalties. Well, it's
Combat.
one thing. What did you say? What's the word?
Combat.
Drive, like a
Combat
drive killer.
penalties,
Mhm.
where you're, it's one thing when you're holding or
Right.
illegal hands to the face because you're in the middle of combat and you're trying to keep. But something like illegal procedure and illegal man downfield when you're not even nowhere near what's happening on the play, those are kind of inexcusable. And it's the one thing I know I'm taking issue with Tico right now. I want to take issue with Bradley a little bit. I'm doing a little bit to tell the truth now.
Yeah.
I'm with you all on the celebrations, but I was frustrated with the coaching at one point too, because as much as that last play, and I agree with you, it's not all luck. That play was successful because of people's skill, because they practiced it, all of that. But there were times in the middle of the game where I thought these guys aren't ready to play this week. They're making
Mm.
stupid mistakes, and I put that on the coaching. And the other frustrating part is it looked a lot like New York Giants in week 2, right? We did the same
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
So that was the frustrating part for me. And I don't want to take anything away from this coaching staff. I love this coaching staff, and they got my full support, and I
Right.
think they're doing all the right things. But there were some guys that weren't ready, that didn't come to play on Sunday and made some stupid mistakes, and that's frustrating for me when you know what the potential is, and we've seen it in the weeks before. We got to fix the stupid stuff. That's
Yeah.
frustrating. So
Well, the
Well,
stupid
I,
stuff is
well,
going to continue to happen, right? Every team makes mistakes. You just try to limit the number,
yeah,
and you limit the mistakes to the ones that are, you can get by with a offside penalty. You can get by with a couple of, miscommunication in the backfield over something. But the ones that cost us points.
yeah.
I
When you're
mean,
down in the red
we
zone,
were trying to get Siebert to break his record of 7 field goals. I mean, we already had, what we were up 12-0, all
we
on field goals, right? Another
yeah,
5 he made.
that
Like
was
that's where I
and he
saw
missed
the
that
weakness.
one. He
he
missed
missed the
that
fifth.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um,
so, yeah, I mean, we can
yeah.
rely on everyone, but I'm still looking at everybody. We're still in the infancy stage here. We're
I
just,
agree. I agree.
we
I'm
barely can
celebrating 6-2.
crawl.
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
We're
I
already running when most kids are just crawling. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
we're going to
I d-
stumble a few times. We're going to make
Yeah.
mistakes, and that's
And
how we
Caleb
learn.
did. And
And
that my
that
commandment
helped
was
us.
to make Caleb make rookie mistakes, and he made the
Yeah.
most rookie mistakes. I just and I agree with you, Dad. It was very reminiscent of the Giants game, and we think of progression like a staircase, right?
Right.
And
Like it's
sometimes
linear.
it's not like a staircase.
And you're
It's
right.
not like a stair.
It's
It's up, it's
it's
down, it's
it's a
around.
bar graph, man.
It's like one of
And
It's a
these jet charts.
dance.
Yeah.
and
It's a dance.
and like the Baltimore game was a learning experience. We learned so
Mhm.
much from that game. Then we go beat the shit out of Carolina without Jayden. And then we come back
Mhm.
and we play this game. And between the 20s, we were fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Offensive,
remember,
Right, that's
we
right.
didn't think,
but
we didn't know if Jayden was going to go in, and that also plays on the psyche. Because let's face it, everything we do in this life, it has a spiritual component. Am I right?
Amen.
There's they always are talking about momentum in the game.
yeah,
What is momentum? Momentum
Belief.
is an energy, it's a belief when things are on your side, and
Yeah.
we say good things happen to good teams.
Yeah.
Bad things happen. What we used to say
Yeah.
all through the
Yeah.
past. For the last 10, 12 years,
Yeah.
we say goofy, occasional
Perkiness. Yeah.
Occasional Perkins.
Yeah.
That's what I was always saying.
and somebody's
for
going to
more
make the
punishment.
wrong throw at the wrong time. Heineke's going to throw 2 interceptions at the wrong time, and we're going to lose the game.
right.
This was not this team.
Yeah.
No.
So in
That's a
these
different team.
low scoring games, we have a quarterback who can lead a team with confidence, cool, calm, and collective,
Mhm.
and make something happen that nobody expected.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Nobody
the good news is this game and the Giants game, we made too many stupid mistakes,
But we won.
but we came out with W's in
And
both
good
of them.
teams
Hey.
So
and good
Right.
good
And
teams
what do they
win
always
bad
say?
games.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
That's right. That's right. Remember the
Very nice.
Immaculate Reception?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember watching that on TV. Looks
I
like
do
the
too.
game is over.
I do too.
Bradshaw goes back. Tatum or somebody from Oakland bangs the ball. Franco Harris scoops it up off the ground. Boom, touchdown. He runs out, and the game's over.
This was our own immaculate
Yeah.
reception. And
This was
Eddie,
our.
that
Mhm.
was your commandment last
My
week.
commandment was actually immaculate.
Oh!
It was immaculate
That's
But
reception.
it was actually
You
no,
called
but
it.
it was
He totally called. He said to
Talk
Terry, but-
about special.
no. I said it to Terry, and that he was going to have 3 touchdowns. That was
you
But-
used the
but-
term immaculate reception,
That's
and
I
we had
did.
an immaculate
Okay,
reception.
so wait.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to
Yeah.
do something then. I want to go through and I want to hear what everybody wants this moment to be called, because I think that
Oh.
all the games have these names, right?
Yeah.
The Minneapolis Miracle,
Yeah,
the
right.
Miami Miracle. I mean, all of them have miracle or something. So I've heard a couple. but I'll start with mine because I think I think it's the most different.
Okay.
I said, and somebody can do the Washington walk off. I like that one too, but I heard the bear trap, and I like that.
Bear trap. Bear
Okay.
trap is good. Okay, well, here's mine then. Right after the game, I got a text from my niece whose name is Mary, and all she texted was "Hail," and I thought, "That was Hail Mary text from my Hail from Mary on the Hail Mary." Anyway, so and of course, Hail to the Redskins. That's our thing anyway. Hail to the Commanders now. I like Hail Maryland.
Yeah, that one was good.
I like.
I got one that I just thought of, and I don't know if it's good or not, but mine would be DUH the Bears.
DUH
Bears.
the Bears.
And then
Okay.
you have to show a picture of our boy,
Okay.
guy in the end zone.
Tyreek.
heckling.
Tico Curtis, what do you
Tyreek,
got?
Go ahead,
right?
Curtis.
The
You got one?
Bears. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? And I can't even take credit for it. It just sticks with me. Mine is Noah's Ark.
Oh, that's a
I
good one.
like that.
That's a good
Right,
one. I
that's-
hadn't heard
That's
that.
really good.
Yeah, I forgot
yeah.
about that one.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Noah's
I
Ark.
think that's because I was gonna say hail Noah or hail to the Noah.
Tail to the. I like
Hail
You
to
want
the
to
Noah's
make
Ark.
it like
Noah's
just-
Ark. though,
Noah's
that
Ark
might
is-
be-
I like
that's
Noah's
strong.
Ark.
That's-
All right,
Yeah.
Washington
That's
Command
different.
West fans, you heard it here first. C-Dub Curtis Walker with Noah's Ark, and that's what it will be referred to
Noah's
now.
Ark.
Although,
baby.
put your suggestions in the comments.
Yep.
We're always
Yeah.
open to fan comments. That's
Yep.
good.
Noah's Ark.
And I want to go
Noah's
back to
Ark.
something that Tico said about Jayden being special, because I remember episode 1 of this season, we were talking about what Jayden Daniels brought to the table. And Dan Quinn in his press conference and Adam Peters said, this kid makes special plays.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was
Yeah.
like, what does that even mean?
what
now
did he
you
say?
know.
Noah's
now
Ark.
you know what it means.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark.
Man,
Noah's
is
Ark.
what
I'm
that
down
means.
with that.
Jayden Daniels makes special plays. Okay.
They do. It's when you're that good things just seem to
Yes.
happen.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been let's not take anything away from Caleb. Caleb had a really good second half. And those last
Fourth
two
quarter.
drives,
Fourth quarter.
that fourth quarter,
He
he
looked
was
good.
killing. He was killing us
He
on
looked good.
on some of those
He
runs.
figured it out.
We could not, he still had 41 yards rushing, which is, that's running back stats. Caleb is good. Their passing game, they didn't connect that. But their running game was it was decent.
Without
But
that one
That one
You
terrible.
know what I can
play,
say
yeah.
about Caleb, though? I admire the guy. I think he, rightly won the first position as, the number 1 pick. But I think the difference is, and you could see it on all the close-ups of the video during that game, especially when things were getting frustrating for him. Tell me he didn't look like he was going to cry. He had the emotional face of stress. He was like, he was looking up at the sky. Like, you don't see that out of Jayden. That's the
No,
difference.
you don't see
Maybe
that.
that's what
I
Peter
love the
saw.
sportsmanship. I love the sportsmanship that he found his way in all that chaos and bedlam going on. He found his way over to congratulate Jayden.
And
I thought
he
that was
did. And
great.
you know what
That's
else
cool.
he did? He
That's
came
cool.
back in the third quarter like he always does and started playing ball. So he can do. The guy can ball.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
on a
yeah.
maturity level,
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
I think Jayden's got him hands down with the maturity level.
Yeah.
I think Jayden is he's just a natural leader. He's one of those guys, and he's just a rookie, but he's so calm that I think that calmness just spreads throughout the whole entire team. And I heard it in some of the clips from the players, and what they were saying is, as long as we have 5, we have a chance.
Yeah, man.
So
I've heard that.
this
Yeah.
guy's he's renewed belief throughout the whole entire team. You know.
I want to hear. I want to highlight another. Some other players here. So, I want to start. I want to hear from everybody. Kind of a highlighted player other than Daniels, because we talked about him a lot from this game. And I'll start with Johnny Newton, second round pick, defensive line, and he got his opportunity. From an unfortunate a situation with Jonathan Allen, who got hurt. But what they say,
Next man up.
Injuries,
man up.
great. Yep. Opportunity.
knocks.
And yeah, next man up. And he had his first sack this game. A great sack. He blew in there on a screenplay, got in the way, and Caleb didn't know what to do. He froze. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. I mean, when I talk about rookies make mistakes, Caleb went to throw it, and Johnny is like, "Hey, man, I'm right here." And then Caleb didn't run the other way. He just stood there, and Johnny was like, "Okay, I'll sack you, I guess." Like, it was so beautiful. And
Like he had
then,
nowhere to go. He was like, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
And then, you can call it being in the right place at the right time. I call it executing on a high level. That fumble, the backup center gets the handoff, doesn't control the ball, and Johnny Newton is right there to take that. And so fumble
100%.
recovery, and he had 7 pressures. And Caleb's a slippery dude. Like he is, he can move in the pocket, and he does not like to be sacked. So 7 pressures is impressive. We need to get some more of those on the ground, but 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, and 7 pressures for the rookie. That's what you like to see.
I'll throw out a name, and it's really because of one play. Although this guy has stepped up a lot recently, but in this game, it's one play, and it's probably a forgotten play by most people. Jeremy McNichols recovers the fumble from Olamide Zaccheaus on a punt return. Like that kind of shit can turn the game around. Olamide fumbles the ball and they recover it. That stuff can turn the game around. And when you've got that presence of mind to jump on that ball and just keep possession of it. We had no turnovers this game because we recovered our own fumble.
Yeah.
Jeremy McNichols jumped on that
Yeah.
ball.
Mhm.
So,
Nice.
kudos for that.
Yeah.
To him for that big play.
Nice.
Keeps us in the game.
And that goes back to good teams. Good things happen to good teams.
Yeah.
Last year, the years past. Matter of fact, let's do like Dion said, because Colorado won as well. So I had a great weekend.
Here we go.
They're 6-2. They are
Just
riding neck
like
and
the
neck.
Commanders. That's how we knew the Commanders were going to win.
That's
Because
how we
Colorado won
knew.
the day before.
That's
So
right.
Tico, who is there any other players that you want to highlight?
Well, what's funny is Terry's my man.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin he's just it's like Jayden took over the position of the leader of the team, and Terry doesn't have to work so hard to be the leader. He already gets his respect. He can focus on doing his work, and there's somebody else who's a star. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going back to Tyreek Stevenson, that one play there was I forgot where it was. I think it was in the third quarter, where it was like 25 seconds left, and Terry catches a ball and gets tackled, and then Tyreek kind of like bangs him in the head right at the end. Terry's already down. Terry jumps up and gets in his face like, man, that was a cheap shot, man. And then Tyreek did something or whatever, and he got the flag.
Yeah.
And Terry was on the side for a minute just going, you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
Oh, God, I was so hyped. I was so hyped.
You know what I'm saying?
You said Terry got tackled, but you didn't do it justice because he got tackled like 15 extra yards because he was Terry was freaking pushing against those dudes. He was fighting, and then he got up and said, "You ain't shit. You ain't shit." And I was like, "Let's go. That's my dog."
Well, he was saying that when he was on the sideline. Yeah, he was yelling off on the sideline. His helmet was off.
It's so funny how that comes around full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Back in the days, we didn't hear any of that stuff. You think about in the 70s and 80s, we didn't hear all this. We hear everything now. Somebody's mic'd up. Cameras everywhere.
Even if they're not mic'd up, there's a camera in their face. You can read those. You can read that line.
Oh man, I thought he did Terry did an excellent job. B-Rob got 65 yards off 16 carries, right? Not a huge day, but that combined with the 52 yards, we end up still having 168 yards on the ground. So we were moving the ball on the ground, and that was one of the things that both Colorado and Washington knew that they had to do, because our passing game is pretty good, and Jayden had his most yards 326,
First
21
300-yard
for
game.
38. So other than getting into the end zone,
Yeah.
but we did get into the end zone at the right time, at the right place,
And it was
Because
no
it-
time
right day.
left.
Because it ain't over until
It's
The fat
over, and the
is ain't
fat
over
lady
till it's
say.
over.
cue it
It
again.
ain't over.
Cue it, run it back.
And you know, it's
Um,
almost nothing else to talk about. You
well,
know, it's
I wanna
almost
hear
like we
from,
can go.
from two other people on this
I know,
podcast about
you-
their
you
players.
Yeah,
flip all
I
the
mean-
guys
And then we
before
can
they
start
get to the
talking
next
And
about
then we
next
can
week.
talk about next week.
I'll say, what I was impressed with was, Ertz is a guy that we kind of never really had.
Yeah.
And the tight end position is one of those either really glorified, like, the Kelseys, and, you have to be that
Gronks.
guy and be scoring that kind of way in order to be recognized, or date Taylor Swift or something. But we didn't have that guy. We always had almost that guy. Remember
Almost.
Jordan Reed,
Yeah.
afraid to get
Jordan
hit.
Reed, and
We had
he
so
got
many
hurt.
issues, but now we have somebody that's another mentor in that
Yeah.
field, another guy to go to who's like a big tree trunk that you can throw at.
Yeah.
And I know he
And
dropped
he's
a
always
couple.
open. He's
He's always open, and
Yeah.
you know what? Because they're double
Safety
teaming
blanket.
Terry. There's
Yeah.
there's always going to be an opportunity, and I love it that at his age he's just doing stuff. So I'm impressed with
Yeah.
that, and he knows how to block.
Yeah. Well said.
Blocking
and
very
and
important.
almost,
Who-
hey Eddie, he
For an
almost
end.
had the touchdown.
I was going
He
to say, who thought he
almost
caught?
had that
Who thought he
touchdown.
caught the ball in the end zone?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like
I
I, said,
did.
he had a couple of
until-
drops,
I thought
but
maybe everybody else would say yes.
Yeah.
it could
You
have
know
gone
what?
either way. It
he
could
did,
have gone either
he
way.
did really good with.
I thought it was a
the
good call.
defense. Chicago has a tough defense, and they're really good in the secondary. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
right,
give you
Curtis.
credit.
Last but not least, what you got?
Okay. So for me, my player is Bobby Wagner. And let me tell you why.
Mm.
If you go back and you look at that game, Bobby Wagner is the master of getting in these quarterbacks' heads. He was almost face to face with Caleb Williams whenever he audible,
Such a
looking
good
in his
point.
face, and he immediately turn around to all the players and linemen, moving them around. It's like having a coach that's on the
Right.
field.
Right.
And then it has to be frustrating because Caleb's looking at him like, damn, how do you know? Okay, he just moved everybody over to where we're going. So, I mean, you have to give this guy credit for the mental warfare
Mhm.
that he does,
That's
and
good.
the inspiration because he
That's
was
good,
just.
Curtis.
If you watch him, he's like he's playing chess out there.
Yeah.
Okay, then what are you saying? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, move over here. They're going over here, guys. They're going
Yeah.
over here. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, definitely.
That's great.
It's so funny because I
call.
think the Bears like really emphasized like, okay, I want Caleb to, I want them to be in a defense, and then we go up to the line, we do some motion, and then change the play at the line. And it's like that doesn't work against Bobby Wagner,
Yeah.
because Wagner's like, okay,
Right.
yeah, like you just said, I said it to my friend. I go, Bobby Wagner's just listening to every play they call.
Killing it, man.
He's in the
He's
huddle
killing
with
it.
them.
He's seeing
Killing it.
everything. He's seen.
hilarious.
He's been there. He's
Yeah.
been there. He's the replacement for London Fletcher,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
we
right.
haven't had that
Yeah.
in years. Where we have a Super Bowl winning person.
Yeah.
Let's face it, trophies don't mean everything, but they mean a
But
lot.
winning does. Winning
Yeah,
does.
It's the
And you
Winning
have had to
culture.
win
A winning culture.
to when you go to a Super Bowl, you walk around differently in the world than
Right,
all the other players
Yeah.
who don't have it.
right.
And Bobby Wagner and London Fletcher came from programs where they both had Super Bowl rings, and Bobby and multiple Super Bowls, their appearances.
Yeah.
And so, and remember, Bobby Wagner has two, right? One with the Rams
Yeah, and one
Right.
in Seattle. Yeah.
and one with Seattle.
and he has to wear them
Two-
on opposite
two-
hand because the
He's been to the
counterbalance.
Super Bowl 3 times. He's
Right.
been to the
Bobby,
Super
yeah.
Bowl 3 times. Okay.
Yeah.
So he brings all of that possible Hall of Fame vibe, for all the Louvu's and the Dante Fowlers
Mhm.
and that whole defense. Because,
And the cachet that goes with it.
Mhm.
so even though Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen were sort of our two captains on the defense, neither one of them had that Bobby Wagner profile.
Right.
Right.
And the trades and what the general manager has done with this team is amazing because
Yeah.
they've taken selected players that they know. Quinn has brought in some of his players from Seattle, Dallas, wherever, and
Atlanta.
put them in, Zach, just where was he in Arizona.
And Philly.
And Philly.
And Philly. Yeah, of course. Those are his glory days in Philly.
Mhm.
And then when they tossed him aside, it's like the old Redskins with George Allen. He brought in all of those veterans that helped them get to the Super Bowl for the first
Yeah,
time.
That's right.
So with all of our young guys, that locker room is filled with leadership
Yeah.
that,
Right.
that
Big
they
time.
can look up to and not feel like, hey, I'm 22 years old. I'm getting all this money. I don't know what to do, how to be a professional. And we've had that for a long time,
Yeah.
that this no leadership locker room.
Right.
And that's a big difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
Um,
good.
Let me piggyback off of something that Bradley said earlier, and then also related to what you're saying now. What we're watching is this team is learning how to win,
yeah.
and it's something that's foreign to a lot of the guys that were here before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a certain amount of effort in a mindset to win. And Bradley said about progression. Progression, along with progression, is teachable moments.
Mhm.
And this
Mm,
definitely wasn't one of their best games, but it's so many teachable moments, especially going into the Giants game where they did the same exact thing,
That's
a
right.
whole bunch of field goals and penalties and stuff like this. Now, and even what Donnie said with the coaching staff, see, now they all can go back and say, hey, look, you know what? Don't read all the press clippings. We got a lot of work to do, guys, because if we do this next week,
Yeah.
we're going to lose. We're going to lose. So we're watching this team learn
how.
together how to win.
Yeah.
Good
Before we
point.
move on to the Giants, because I want to do that, the last thing I want to say about this game is it's such a good point, learning how to win, and this type of win does something to the whole program, right?
Mhm.
Like I think it was either Dad or Curtis who said that that you start to learn, like, as long as 5 is there, we have a chance. As long as we have time on the clock, we can win this game. You know what I mean? Like that. You know that the Chiefs, if they're down by 3
Mhm.
and there's 10 seconds left, because they've done that, they can
Yeah.
win the game. You know what I mean? Like, that belief is real, and this type of game solidifies that shit, right?
Absolutely.
Like this type of game is like, even at the most improbable, impossible moments, we're gonna win this game. And
Yep.
the other thought that I had was, and it's almost kind of like, I don't want to say emotional, but it's kind of like, when I was growing up, when I was a young kid, I said, I don't want to be a Commanders fan because they're bad. I don't want to root for this team. So I was like, I want to root for Peyton Manning and LaDainian Tomlinson. It wasn't until I was maybe 12 or 13 when I decided, all right, I can't fight it anymore. It's in my blood. My blood runs burgundy and gold. And so, so I started to sit in the misery of watching this team over and over and over. What's kind of special to me is I'm watching kids watch Jayden Daniels, watch games like this, and Commanders fans are blossoming in front of our eyes. Like, young kids who are 12, 13, 9, 10, watch that game and go, oh my God, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. This Jayden Daniels rookie is amazing. I want to be a fan of the Commanders.
That's so
Must be
good.
selling well.
That's
30
so
years.
good.
When was
Yeah.
the last time we had that? We had that for one season with RG3, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
And that was the
Excitement.
second half of the season when they
Right.
went on that
Right.
7-game run.
our fan base is growing this year because of how exciting this team is. And I don't know.
Right.
That was just a thought I had. And
Absolutely.
it was
It's a
a
good
good
Nah,
point.
that's
No,
beautiful.
you're right.
That was beautiful.
You're right.
Making
You're
fans
right.
in other areas, not
Yes.
just because
And
they
plus-
grew up and growing up in the DMV. They're looking at you
It-
guys and say, that's who I
it-
want to be a fan of.
Yeah.
Right. And the beautiful thing about it is Jayden Daniels, not only is he exceptional as a player, but he's a
Yes.
good guy. He's a
That's
good
the
guy.
culture right there.
Somebody that kids can look at and say, oh, you know
Yeah.
what? Hey, I want to be like Jayden Daniels. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then parents say, oh yeah, he's a
Yeah.
good guy. He's a nice
Yeah.
guy. I can root for him. Yep.
And we got that all over the
Good
team.
role model, we
Terry,
do.
you see Emmanuel Forbes lifting people off the ground after they're you know, and we got we've had a lot to say about Emmanuel Forbes, but you can say that sportsmanship is being taught in Washington because Emmanuel Forbes is literally lifting Bears players off the ground onto their feet. You know, like
Weren't they crying a lot though while they were on the ground? Were they crying? I mean,
They
is
were-
that why
they
I've
were
been
in
away there
shock.
too.
There's a little bit
They
of
were in
crying.
shock,
to get up.
man. It was
Cool.
it
All
was a
right.
shocking moment on
Yeah.
both sides. It was
Yeah.
a shock.
It was a
It was a
it was.
shock
It
moment.
shocked the
whether
country.
it shocked the
He
whole
He just
world,
really
country.
wanted to
Yeah.
see if he was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a contest against a division rival coming up on Sunday, and the New York Giants haven't had the best season. I believe they're 2-5.
I think they're
We've
2
already
and
played
6,
them.
aren't they?
2-6. Okay.
Yeah.
They have another bye. So we've already played them. We beat them by 6 points. No, it
Mhm.
was 21
Something
to-
like that.
Mm.
21.
to-
Let's
I
see.
forget
It was
what
21-18.
18. It was 3
Mhm.
points. Yeah.
We
3
lost
points.
by 3
Yeah.
points. We won by 3
we
points.
won by a field goal. And, you know,
Mhm.
we looking back on that game, it was, you know, we were still figuring it out, right? Like we had that was the second game of the season?
Yep.
Yeah, we
No,
just
third.
lost.
Yeah,
No,
second.
right after
Second
that.
Our
game of the
first win.
season.
It was our first win. So we were still figuring things out. For me, I feel like we are a completely different team
Yeah.
than week 2.
Right.
You know,
We better be.
but yet we just came off a game where we struggled in the red zone, just like we did in that game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start right off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Bradley, that,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad you mentioned that because no team goes through just kicking butt straight through.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
the Ravens lost to the Cleveland Browns.
Mhm.
We beat them 34-13.
Mhm.
Okay. So, like they say, any given Sunday,
Mhm.
and Jameis Winston came in there with a fire.
Yeah.
And then I watched the Giants game against Pittsburgh. And the Giants got some players, man. They
Yeah.
have a 3-headed monster in their backfield because they knew what they were doing when they let Saquon go. You know, they got 3 guys in there, Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, and Tyrone Tracy. These guys are fast. They're tough. They almost look like they're the same guy. Like,
Tracy is explosive, man.
Tracy
Oh
is
my
those are some
God.
big plays.
He runs hard and violent.
Yeah.
you know, they still got Darius Slayton and Malik Neighbors, who
Neighbors
played
had
with
a
Jay-
day on us last
he-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
that's
had a
the one who
big day on
scares
us.
me the most from an aerial
Yeah.
attack. Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta watch. We gotta
so
keep our hands.
you never can underestimate any of these teams.
Yeah.
Any of them.
I've
I
stopped
don't care
saying that the
what their
Giants are a
record.
bad team because they're not. They're
They
not
just haven't
vibing
won.
right. They're not gelling
They
right.
haven't won.
Yeah,
And so many elements have to come together. This year we got coaching, we got young players, we got an exceptional quarterback, rookie. We got some wily veterans who have experience. And what else?
Those
we
are
got
some
the-
pretty good
the-
ingredients for the right
Mhm.
kind of winning stew.
Mhm.
brotherhood.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We've
and-
all been
and-
talking about
and
brotherhood.
belief. They believe
And
in
belief.
themselves. Yeah.
So
Right.
let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about the Giants here. They've got, I would say, probably the best defense in the division out of the 4 teams. You know, maybe you could argue that the Eagles have more talent, but the Giants are playing well on defense. It's really where their offense is where they struggle. Daniel Jones has not been the quarterback that they hoped he would be, and Malik Neighbors is that guy. Like, he is a dog, but they don't really have a lot else in the receiver core that scares me. But I think that we're so far from where we were in week 2 and letting receivers run wide open. When was I guess Zay Flowers had a day on us, but it's a different type of wide receiver as Zay Flowers. He's BSJ's worst nightmare. I think that he'll still have a good day, but I just think that we're so much better prepared for somebody like Malik Neighbors. DJ Moore, like, he didn't do much at all. Keenan Allen, they didn't do a lot. Roma Dunze, if you want to argue, had the best day against us, but So I want to remind you, Curtis, of what we do, in when we talk about the next game is we talk about our commandment, and it's kind of just like a key to how are we going to win this game. We make it silly because we're the Commanders commandment, and we do thou shalt. So I'll start us off.
Mhm.
We need to score touchdowns. I mean, it's plain and simple. Thou shalt score touchdowns. I don't even want to say red zone proficiency, because if we score from the 60, or from the 50, we're scoring bombs all game.
65 with no time left. So
that's all I'm saying. I just need us to score touchdowns and not field goals. So thou shalt score touchdowns. Thou shalt score touchdowns. That's my commandment.
Okay.
That's a good one.
It's simple.
I have mine ready too.
Go for it.
Thou shalt not take the Giants for granted. No mistakes, no mercy.
Good one. Good one.
Okay.
Love it.
Good one.
Okay. It's a little bit more low key than mine, but mine's along the same lines as both of yours. This is all coming from fan and from the heart. This is more of a fan commandment than a key. But mine is, thou shalt ball out. Drop a 40 burger on these fools. Get it done. Because they're coming off of this game where they didn't play well. They want to play their asses off, and they got the fire from that Hail Mary. Ball out, MFers.
Ball out.
Sorry.
And the Giants deserve to get 40 on their head, because 7 field goals, man. We should have put up 7 TDs. Like,
That's
these guys deserve to get blown the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Dubs knows, but I'm from New Jersey, and I'm not a Giant fan. I've never been
That's right.
one. I can't jump ship just because I'm from Jersey, and I've been a diehard fan since I was 12 years old. And it was all because of my uncles playing football in Dallas as college guys, right? And they were a little older than me, and my brother and I would go over every Thanksgiving, and they'd be rooting for Dallas on Thanksgiving. And I'm going, there's no way I'm rooting for Dallas. And that's how it started, and it ain't ending.
And it
There you
hasn't
go.
stopped.
All right, Cousins, what do we got for us?
Okay, so for me, it's going to be thou shalt finish drives. Because the
good.
first time we played the Giants, it wasn't that we couldn't move the ball.
That's
It was we didn't finish a drive.
absolutely correct.
I just want to see us finish drives and put these guys away. Do what good teams are supposed to do against bad teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finish the drive. Thou
Yes.
shalt finish the drive.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Love it.
Tico.
And my thing is, we got thou shalt score 35 to 40 points.
Haven't we done that all year already?
It's all
Except
about the
Yeah.
for a few games.
I think this is
And
our
the
first
Giants being one of
zero defense.
I was just gonna say it was all about the offense, right?
All offensive. It's very telling.
I would like to say thou shalt cause Tico to lose his voice again.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
you
a
go.
I
bonus
just-
commandment.
Before we wrap up, I just want to thank Curtis for
Absolutely.
joining us tonight. This was a fun episode. I said at the beginning of the show,
Thanks, Curtis.
it's a fun week.
My
It's a
pleasure.
fun episode. You're always invited back, Curtis.
Absolutely.
Always.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yep. So before I go, just let
Yeah.
you guys know that the future is bright, feeling good.
And you got
Left hand is up. Let's go.
Let's
So
go.
right, you gotta wear a shade.
Let's go. And
Let's go.
that's going to be a wrap for this episode of Command West. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you had just as much fun listening as we did, bringing you the latest and the greatest on the burgundy gold. Remember, you are our 5th commandment, and in this episode, you're our 6th. So please put your commandments down below. What do we need to do to beat the New York Giants this Sunday? Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and tune in next week. Peace.
See ya.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings.